Hello everybody, thank you for watching the replay, for all of my yogi edgies, for you being here, and inviting your friends in and giving them a great big hug and encouraging them to do this crazy pose. So, alright, getting right to it. So we're doing EPK, yes I am. Thank you for hugging your friends, Bashar. Thank you for hugging your friends, Evelyn. I don't like whenever you get kicked to the curb either, so I apologize for that happening. Let's see if you can see the floor. Yes, I think you can. It's just like real close. Maybe you, nope, I think sideways does not work as good. Okay, so thank you for sharing on Twitter with all of your friends there. I have a quick question actually, and this is something I've been curious about. How many of you have friends that are on Periscope? Like, put a 1 if you have friends that actually use Periscope. And put a 2 if no one in your, like, world that you actually, like, see and hug and say hello to has any idea what Periscope is. So put a 1 if you actually have people in your life that use Periscope, and put a 2 if they're like, what are you doing? A 2. Okay. Anybody else? And number 1, if your friends use Periscope, you know somebody who uses Periscope. And a number 2, if no. Because so far, you hide in Periscope from the real world. I feel you on that, because I have been noticing that everyone I encounter in the real world, like, has no clue what I'm doing, and so I need to just, like, make a sign with, like, an information sheet so that they understand, like, why I'm talking to myself, or, like, why I'm watching people talk, and sometimes they hear, like, my name being called out, like, why is that video talking about your name? And so the reason I ask this is because, so for those of you who are just trying to, like, get away from everyone in your world, don't listen to this advice. Then stay in your little bubble. But if you have, like, friends, they don't really understand it. My mom thinks I'm weird, but I'm glad I'm learning. Okay, that's about where I'm at. So this is how we need to change, though, because I'm the same way. I feel the same way, and at first it was really awkward. Yeah. At first it was really awkward for me to, like, explain to people what Periscope was, and, like, they were wondering why I'm so busy all of a sudden, and, like, why are you not sleeping, and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing this yoga challenge on Periscope, and they're like, what the hell is that? And then they, like, nobody, even at my yoga studio, knows what a yoga challenge is. And I'm like, okay, so they think I'm just, I don't know what they think. But every time I say the words, they have no clue what's going on and what I'm saying. So instead of me just kind of, like, feeling frustrated and hiding it, we did, Arlen, we did miss you. I have started opening up to people and explaining, because imagine if no one ever told you about Periscope. Imagine if, however you got here, like, that didn't happen. Imagine how much you would not be learning or laughing or growing. Don't know the challenges and what Periscope means, yeah. And so imagine that day. Imagine that no one shared that information with you. Wouldn't that suck? Because I would be in a completely different mindset than I am right now if I hadn't have found Periscope. It's crazy how many uses. Yeah. And so this is my challenge for you today. You know that the theme for this week's monkey splits, I'm sorry, I'm, like, getting distracted by this orange. I don't know why this is distracting me. The monkey mind is going berserk today. So you know that this week's theme on the Monkey Splits Gone Bananas challenge is monkey see, monkey do. Okay, and that's fine, Evelyn. You don't have to force feed people stuff. However, there are other ways that you just kind of like have to lead by example. You know that. And so I challenge you to do this, because inviting your followers on Periscope, really, like, most of us just have a bunch of troll followers or people that signed on one time and then never came back again, or I don't even know, like, weirdos that are, like, kind of secret, like, closet trolls. Watch the orange. Focus on the orange. You're getting sleepy. Arlen, your orange hearts. Okay, so followers, I love it when you invite your followers, but sometimes, do you even, like, invite followers and you have no idea anyone's still in the scope? Because that happens to me all the time. So I try to really filter out my followers and make sure it's just my friends. And that way, when I invite my followers, it's like actually inviting my friends and not like a weird party into the room that I was actually enjoying, you know? Okay, and then Twitter. So if you share on Twitter, then here's another question. How many of you actually, like, look on Twitter and follow people and use their information versus using it as an information graveyard? Because put a 1 if you are actively interacting with people on Twitter. Put a 2 if you, like, post stuff on Twitter, but really, like, other than maybe liking and retweeting, that's all that happens. So 1, if you have, like, a community, then put a 1, and tweet me this if you have a community. Since you've been on Periscope, I've added over 150 people. And add, though, Arlen, now tell me how many of them you've actually had a conversation with other than me. I'm a 3. Have one, but don't use it. See? Okay. So those are the 2 primary ways to share Periscopes. Do you realize that? What the hell is the purpose if it's going into, like, this, we're just throwing it into this black hole, you know? Somewhere weird. So, this is my challenge for you. There's a third option, and I just started using it and trying to get over my fears of people thinking I'm weird, or people asking dumb questions like, what is Periscope 50 times? Or people just simply ignoring it and saying that they don't have time. So the third thing that I want you to do, I want you to click on swipe up or left or whatever. You know how to get to the share thing. You know what I'm talking about. Go to share broadcast and click on copy link. That's why I follow you, because you're weird. Yes. Yes. Go to copy link right now. Go ahead and do it right now. It's not going to take you out of the room or anything. Swipe up, I think, if you're on Android, or left or right, something another if you're on iPhone, okay? Hit copy link. Did you do it? Put a 1 if you copied the link. Put a 2 if you're boycotting. And if you're watching this replay, like, I expect you to be doing all of this with me, because it's really important if you want to change your world. And I'm actively changing my world. 1, I'm boycotting. Okay, so now that you have the link, we're gonna do this thing, and you're gonna have that link on your clipboard. At the very end, when we go, I want you to go to where your friends actually are. So, like, not the graveyard of Twitter or weirdos on Periscope. And I want you to paste that link and put something you took away from this. So, if anything, it could be, I took away that I should actually be inviting my friends to where I hang out. If you went to the same bar every day and you're like, gosh, none of my friends are here, you wouldn't just, like, open the door and be like, hey, friends, come in here. No, you would have to actually go and, like, tell them, hey, I'm going to be at this bar. Come hang out with me, you know? So that's one thing that I'm changing. Now, if I have a, Periscope, I don't drink either, but I know that a lot of people can relate to this idea, and I'm sure in your head you just got the point. So I'm starting to share links with my friends. All of my students They have no clue what Periscope is. They know I'm doing it, but they don't get it. So the other night, there was a spider in my cottage, which is yet to be found still. And then I come on Periscope, and Soul Star Medicine, Rachel Webb, is doing a meditation about fear and spiders. Evelyn joined me because I did share with my friends on Periscope, and she came in, and it was awesome, you know? But then I copied the link and I shared with my friends that I had told them about the spider situation, and now they'll have like a better idea of what the heck I'm talking about. So I want you, at the end, take that link, and if you're on Instagram, for example, find a way to post it on there. If you have text message friends, text it to them, if people that would actually have use of it. Don't just like text your grandma like, this is what I'm talking about, what Periscope is. That would not really work. But you can also do it on the future ones. But I wanted to go over that because that is going to be the really big way of how we're going to do monkey see, monkey do. Does that make sense? Because they can't really see you or understand what you're doing if you're not actually giving them the resources. You've done that with a specific friend instead of a general post. See? Cool. Okay. That was my little soapbox. And I appreciate anyone who does that, and it's not just for me. Like, I want you to do that on every Periscope that you're watching, not just mine. A lot of times mine are not shareable ones. A lot of times you probably wouldn't want your friends up in here talking about whatever we're trying to open our minds to. But the ones that are really good info for, like, general FYI, like Lean Green Media, that's a really good one. You haven't got room for a soapbox, I know. I have a sunburn, yes. It's not terrible, but I went fishing in the kayak today. Okay, EPK 2, here it comes. Thank you for doing that Monkey See, Monkey Do challenge. Let me know how it goes. Tell me if you, no bobs, nope. Tell me how they react to it, because I would like to know. So, for EPK 2, you are going to warm it up by going into table position. And I can barely see your comments, but I'll try to keep up with them. And you're going to just kick back a few times to start warming up. After you do some kicks, then I want you to kick out and get the obliques warmed up about 3 or 4 times. After you do those, you're going to go into a kicking like tiger, and then out like you're peeing on a fire hydrant, and flick it. Kicking tiger, out, flick it. Kicking tiger, out, flick it. On the last one, plant your toe down, the ball of your toe, down on the floor, keeping the knee slightly turned into your elbow, and then lunging forward into your lizard pose. It's going to keep the hip rotated out, and it's going to slide your rib cage down to the side of you a little bit easier. Kicking tiger, peeing dragon. That's amazing. I'm going to have to edit the name, Arlen, and call it that from now on. The pose dedicated to Arlen. Kicking tiger, peeing dragon. Okay. Once you are here in your lizard pose, I apologize that like I'm shoved into this little tiny box right now, but my connection wasn't working anywhere else, so you get to see me try to do crazy yoga in like the smallest space ever. Okay. You're in your lizard pose. You know how to do lizard pose. Take your inside arm, shove your shoulder as close to the knee pit as possible, and then the elbow through the hole. Okay? Once you're through the hole, place your palm down and think about doing a chaturanga. Your elbow should be digging into the back of your hamstring. If you have a hard time getting your leg up on your shoulder, try doing that kicking position rather than going from like a lunge into your lizard, because it's going to rotate this hip out. If you don't want to do the weird kicking tiger, peeing dragon pose, then at least do this twist in your lizard first, to press the knee out, to get it like loosened up and ready to go. All right, once you're there, elbow is digging into the back of your hamstring, arms are going into chaturanga. Walk your toes forward, keeping your elbows nice and tight. Woo! Once that's ready to lift off, so my foot is right here. Hello! Once your foot is ready to lift off, think about doing a chaturanga. You don't face plant on a chaturanga. You stay nice and straight, right? You don't do this. So I've been seeing like lots of this happening. Even mine, I'm used to doing it straight into like a chin stand. So I want you to try to keep the chest open as you're letting it lower down. I am still working on my chaturanga strength, so I do take the free arm and I put my elbow on my hip. That's a cheat. Only practice that if you want to test out the feeling of flight. Try not to make it a habit, because after you make it a habit, it's really hard to build up the EPK2 without doing that cheat. So I don't even know if I can do it actually without the elbow on the hip. So that's what I want you to know that. All right. There were cheats in yoga. Well, see, realize that a lot of these things I've learned not in yoga terms, so people modify them all the time. And so that's how I learned how to do this. So after you have everything set up, your leg is flying. Let's see if I can, I'm just like moving around. You did it differently. Oh crap, I missed the long comment, Evelyn. I apologize. I'll watch the replay and see what you said. All right. I'm only lifting the foot so that I can straighten it in a minute. Yours would be on the floor. After you're in your plank-like position with your body, think of chaturanga, press it forward, lower it, and think out. And kick the front leg forward, the back leg back. Hey, it wasn't on my hip. Cool. You have to keep your elbows in. Don't let it do this. You're not like the funky chicken EPK2. You are elbows in, super tight. Okay? So from a different angle, I'll show you how that side arm is squeezing my body. It's like hugging my ribs. Like, nope, you can't go past this. They're breaks, essentially. One more. So table. It's quite scary lifting since you can face plant. Spunky chicken is going to do that. Evelyn, I would not be afraid of face planting. Just have a mat that's like kind of thick at your face, because you can go into a fallen angel or a chin stand from here, so you kind of want to be okay with that. And I'll try to show you, and hopefully, you know, not break everything in my cottage at the same time. But that's how I learned. I learned like cheek to floor way, actually, the first time. So, or an ice pack to land. All right. So you went into your kick and out, plant it forward, lizard, nice and down. I'm not ready for chin stand without a wall. I'm scared to crush my neck. It's actually how I started to learn chin stand, because you're going to be literally starting like horizontal. So you have to have the muscles to go up. You're not just going to accidentally fall into it. Trust me. All right. You have your leg under your knee, and you walked the foot out, and it's now flying high. Can you see my toes? No. My toes are up. I'm going to go into like a chaturanga and think of pressing my chest forward. Ah! And then lifting the back hip. I don't have enough room this way. I'm running into everything. This is a very frustrating pose to do in minimal area and on camera. I could do it, but I can't do it on camera because of how flying foot, planting face. So I think that you understood what I'm saying, though, is that as you come down, this arm should be hugging right next to your body, okay? Now, as Evelyn's talking about being scared of face planting, I'll show you at this direction how you can land, and this is how I suggest kind of becoming okay with that teeter-totter process. And just one last tip before we go into how to land. You notice that as I lifted up on the last one, everything's going like out, okay? Imagine you're a bird. I'm a stay with training wheels and your basic yoga. You're welcome. Imagine you're a bird. I told Yogi Snow this today because he said that he had never gotten as high as he did on this move until today on Instagram. And what I noticed, I told him, I said he was totally ready, but what I kept seeing was this. Let's hope I don't crash the place down. I kept seeing, like, hopping. Are you doing this? Because if you're hopping, that's going to be freaking hard to catch. So don't think about going up. You're not going up. You're staying completely level from where you began, and all you're doing is going out. So if you notice your ass trying to bounce like one of those, like, cars with the big airbags, stop doing that. It's just lifting and not, it doesn't, all that you're doing is this. That's the only lift that you're going to have. You're just simply pulling your back muscles. Yeah, don't ass bounce. No twerking in this pose, okay? So it's not like, oh, you're not doing that. You're just simply pressing your leg back, and your lower back is pulling it up, and your butt is squeezing. If you call that lifting, then yes. But I would say it's more just extending. And that's the biggest thing I am seeing that everyone's kind of like having a hard time catching if you're trying to go up. Don't try to go up. Try to fly. You're not like a little bird flapping its wings. You're a soaring eagle in this pose, okay? Yes, extending. Okay, now to land. We're in the EPK 2, and you're flying. I will definitely not be able to see your comments. I have my mat in front of my face, and you are going to get a crotch shot, so I apologize. I have my mat right between my hands, a little bit forward. I'm up. I press my face to the side, and then I lift by pulling my back muscles up and pointing both feet to the sky. And come down gracefully when you don't have things to fall on. So it's just the no beans before yoga. No, don't do that. So it's just simply pulling the lower back muscles to raise you up, Evelyn. I lay on the side of my head, but if you are going to do that, make sure you lay on the side on both sides. But essentially, you would go into a chin stand. But you saw how it was just kind of like, oh, I'm going to take a nap now, right? It wasn't like face plant. Be slow and gentle with it, and that's how I like to come out of mine. Whew. Okay. Yes, it does take a lot of back muscle. I was hoping to get up into a scorpion because that's what I like to do after it, but it's too claustrophobic right now, and like I will end up kicking everything because coming out is like coming out of a worm pose. Like you're just gonna like whoop. So I didn't want to kick everybody in Periscope. For real. Okay. Any questions about that? And was that some new information if you practice yoga, or have you tried it that way before? New for you. Good. Evelyn? I have not tried Bikram. I think that one's the hot one, right? I don't really know if I live in Florida, so does that count? And I practice on the beach a lot, so I feel like that should count for something. But I don't really have like a specific style. new for you since you do it a different way. Cool. So, we're about to go, but what's your assignment? Your monkey see, monkey do assignment. 105? Well, maybe this June on Florida beaches, that would be about right. So kind of, but not officially. Your assignment is to swipe whatever damn direction that they tell you to do, and instead of sharing this broadcast with your friends on Periscope, I want you to find at least one person that you can share this broadcast to by copying the link. So hit copy link. Watch the orange. Focus on the orange. You're getting sleepy. Copy the link and share it with somebody that maybe isn't on Periscope, that you think would find Periscope really cool just like you do, and tell them, hey, this is like an example of stuff I watch. And they'll kind of get the idea from the beginning of my description on this particular post. And then that way, sooner or later, you'll have friends actually in your world that you can scope with and walk around and not feel like a weirdo talking to your phone, okay? And that way, we can have more people practicing with us and giving us good ideas. Because sometimes y'all say stuff that I wouldn't have thought of, like, that was a hilarious name for this pose that Arlen gave, or Evelyn, I think you were talking about how you get into this pose. And imagine if we had, like, just a few of your friends there with you, you'd be, like, in a brainstorming mode all together, and that's what, I think that's going to help us grow and expand this, like, happy place. Because I don't really like going into the real world and nobody understanding what I'm about. You're sure you will be scoping at the yoga festival? Oh, yeah. Yes. Evelyn's going to be in my scopes at the yoga festival. All right. Good night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Jules has something banana-related for us, and Whole Food Nanny has some awesome recipe. Since you're up this late, you may see it before you go to bed. But if not, you're going to see it in the morning. Namaste. Love you. Bye. Bye. Copy that link. Share it.